All right, we are here to do the men's elimination chamber match, and I'm here with a new friend, Steve from SCW Wrestling. Steve, what's going on, man?
Hey, thank you for having me on. First and foremost, it's great to be on your channel. I've seen a few of your prediction videos and think it's great to be a part of this. So first off, thank you for having me here. And Elimination Chamber, it's an exciting time. Toronto, always a hot crowd. We're on the road to WrestleMania. And looking at that match next to us, that could be the most stacked chamber match we've seen in years. So yeah, I'm hyped.
Yeah, star power galore. And Toronto, low key, is a top 5 WWE city historically. So that's a factor that we haven't really talked about. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, being one of those biased UK fans who loves to make as much noise as possible, I always appreciate a loud crowd, and like you say, Toronto's up there with the best of them.
Yeah, Philly, New York, Boston, historically with Toronto are the big four. So good shit
Mm,
there. All right, Steve, let's just dive right into it.
let's do it.
We mentioned that this is a star-studded elimination chamber. Let me kind of just deliver how we got here, and let me know if any of these are kind of surprise entries. Cena gets a pass. Pretty much the night of the Rumble, said he's going to be in the chamber, and the WWE honored it. He's in the chamber. CM Punk defeated Sami Zayn. Drew McIntyre defeated LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. Logan Paul defeated Rey Mysterio. Seth Rollins defeated Finn Balor, and Damian Priest defeated Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. Any of those surprise you off the bat?
Honestly, looking at this lineup, I would say no. But looking at Damian Priest, I think had probably the most impressive qualifying match of them all. The fact that you can get past Jacob Fatu at this particular moment feels like an unstoppable monster of the future. CM Punk versus Sami Zayn's probably my favorite qualifying match of the bunch.
Yeah.
But you can't ignore the fact John Cena's got the bye here. I mean, talk about the fact that John Cena just happy to be back on that farewell tour. All of a sudden, doesn't win the Royal Rumble. It sinks in quickly that he may not go to WrestleMania. Might not be that easy. The politician starts to come out, and yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see where this farewell tour leads to John Cena, because yes, to many it's all about that 17th world title, but I'm in it for the journey. I'm looking to see how much John Cena can struggle over this next few months.
No doubt. Now, the night of Royal Rumble, saying he's doing it for the history of the company, and he's kind of doing it low key for himself, and then getting a bye, not earning his spot. I wonder if that's a prelude to anything, perhaps.
Perhaps. I'm sure we might dive into maybe one other important segment that is involved with this show, and perhaps Johnson just might fit in perfectly into that slot. But I suppose we should speculate first.
Okay, so let's start with 6, the least likely to win this chamber match. I'm going to go off the rift here. I think these two guys are in the tier of their own, and it's at the bottom of the tier. But I'm going to say the least likely to win this is probably Logan Paul. I think there's a little bit more investment in Damian Priest. I think it's in the same tier as Logan Paul at the very bottom. But I just feel that I could maybe see Priest winning. But right now, let's discuss Logan Paul. Do you feel that Logan Paul is the least likely to win this chamber match?
I have him at fifth,
Okay.
personally. The reason I have him at fifth is I think it's time just to discuss a little bit of The Rock and Cody Rhodes and all that stuff that's going on, because The Rock wants, arguably, it feels, a corporate champion. He wants Cody Rhodes' soul. Look, Adrenaline might be going through Cody Rhodes' soul, but I think it's all about the people for Cody. The Rock is jealous of the fact that Cody's that current people's champion. I think Cody will turn it down. And I think that if you look then of what The Rock is looking for, he says he's looking for a brother, but deep down, he's looking for someone with good social numbers, someone that's going to help, be big on social media, someone he can push to be a future champion that can take away from Cody Rhodes. I think Logan Paul fits the profile better than Damian Priest. Damian Priest, for me, is someone that I just feel it would be for a heel turn only, and he's just moved to SmackDown. He's just broke away from Judgment Day. He's started to do things on his own, so just don't think he fits the profile. However, Damian Priest is a former world champion, where Logan Paul is not, so that's something that goes against Logan Paul. But yeah, Logan Paul there for me, probably have an impressive spot in the chamber. That's kind of what he's there for, I would imagine. Maybe to set up something for WrestleMania. He's done it the last 2 previous years as well. So yeah, I don't see Logan Paul winning, but he's someone that could just tick a couple of The Rock's boxes. But I don't think he's going to be the guy that could be the corporate champion.
He'll probably have the most impressive spot, so to speak, in the match for sure. He'll be the highlight reel spot. And I'm curious if the elimination would lead to his WrestleMania match or him getting in the way He made the final 3 of the Rumble. I'd be surprised if he made the final 3 here in the Chamber.
Kind of agree with you on this one. I feel for me, like I think Logan Paul would be great with like a coast to coast spot in this chamber, something along that line. I think that's good for the sort of social media numbers. Say he's jumping as well off the top of the pod or something in some format.
Yeah.
That's what he's there for. He's there for the social media numbers. And like you say, if you can build a match out to WrestleMania, which currently there's a couple of guys that he's been talking with backwards and forwards on Monday nights, CMPunk being one of them. Although I hope that's not the match of WrestleMania. Just want to put that out there nice and early. But at the same time, there is stuff to be done for Logan in this chamber.
Yeah, he definitely feels like a placeholder for WrestleMania, whoever breaks through the cracks and falls into his lap. All right, so we mentioned Damian Priest being 5th for me. Is he 6th for you?
6 for me, yes.
Okay, so same profile where you could see him potentially being a Rock guy, but like you said, I don't know if it fits with the fresh new face on SmackDown, the fresh breaking away from the Judgment Day, in that they feel like they want to present him as a babyface. But I could see the side where the medicine Damian Priest could be a light version of maybe someone else that we'll talk about much later on this list, and he could fit the bill from an optic standpoint. So that's why I had him a little bit above Logan.
I think it's understandable, to be fair. Obviously, one thing I would say is I'm a big Damian Priest fan. I really enjoy his work. Followed him since his Ring of Honor days as well. But looking at the current sort of movement from SmackDown since he's actually broke away from the Judgment Day, I do feel his stock has gone down a little bit, and I'm hoping it's going to raise back up now as on SmackDown. The qualifying match helped for me because Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu, when I heard that, the big triple threat match, I was like, I'm in for this match. I was really into it. But since then, we've just seen some throwaway tag team matches with Priest. I want to see him have something a bit meaningful going to WrestleMania. There has been rumors that it could be with one of these people in the chamber, but some people have some fanfare against it. We'll see if it ends up working out or not.
Yeah, I feel like he's presented well. Like they think they're presenting him well, but there's kind of lacking a little substance in the last month since coming over to SmackDown. But that could be in a wait period for him to kind of float and do something else at WrestleMania. All right, number 4. I don't know if this is going to surprise you or not, but I feel like this is my number 4, and that's Seth Rollins. Now, we were a benefit to see him in a promo last night on Monday Night Raw in bringing up the history with Cody, but I still don't feel like he is in that tip-top tier with the other 3 here. So Seth Rollins, I would have 4th as likely to win this match.
I like it. I think it's sensible. I'd have Seth in the middle of the pack as well. Personally, if I had to go out there and put a limb of like first, second, third, fourth, I would put him in 3rd. But however, I do think 3rd or 4th is around the right spot for him. He's someone that's been there and done it, by the way, of being a corporate champion in the past. So he kind of is someone that could fit the build if you want to go full-on fledged heel. He's someone that spoke a lot of truths in the last 12 months, yet seems to be portrayed as the bad guy when it comes against the likes of a CM Punk. So, I mean, deep down, I still want to see a Seth Hill run in 2025, but I don't think it's going to come courtesy of being a corporate champion. And I agree with you. I don't see him getting to the end zone here. I think that he's just going to fall just short towards the end.
I wonder if there could be an underlying case where he has that respect that The Rock was kind of portraying to Cody because he went through and proved it last year at WrestleMania. He's the one, it could be the one in Rock's eyes that cost Roman, and that could be low-key The Rock's biggest gripe is Roman. So I could see an underlining kind of teaming up behind the scenes, and then they would bring it to light, and you'd be like, and then Seth Rollins' kryptonite is Cody Rhodes for the last few years as well. So he could make Cody feel vulnerable by buddying up to him within the last year, vulnerable by, he put that dagger in front of him saying, I helped you win that belt last year at WrestleMania, and I teamed with you. So it could, be Cody be like safe with him, and then he's not safe with him because he can underline him. I don't know. I can see it. I just don't see it for Seth. That feels like Cody and Seth doesn't feel like it's ripe for that match yet.
Yeah, I think, like you said that, and I think you made some great points, by the way. It almost swayed me to put Seth a bit higher in the pecking order, to be honest. It fit the bill a little bit there because Cody himself called Seth the MVP, didn't he, of WrestleMania 40 last year in the promo on Last Night on Raw. But as much as, like you said there, timing, I think, is everything. And the timing just doesn't feel right now for that type of match
Yeah.
with Cody Rhodes, especially when you know there is stuff going on with Punk, there is stuff going on with Roman Reigns. Roman's been able since the Rumble as well. That could be something that could bite Seth on the road to WrestleMania, and that could even potentially be in Toronto.
There's substance there. This just doesn't feel like there's timing. All right,
Okay.
number 3. Now this is like a different tier. Like, I don't know where to kind of go here. Waffle. I'm just gonna play it safe and say before it would be Drew McIntyre, but now The Rock is evolved. It kind of bumps CM Punk down a little bit for me. So I have CM Punk third most likely to win here. Closer to 2 than 4 if we were to kind of give percentages out here.
That makes sense. I can respect that. CM Punk for me is, let's just say right now, is in the top 2, just so I don't give anything too much away. For me, CM Punk is someone that's looking for that WrestleMania main event, and I believe that the idea that he could be fingertips from getting it certainly would be interesting at television, I think, on Saturday. So I'd like to see him be in that final 2, possibly as a winner, but we'll discuss the idea of that when we get to when you talk about your number 1.
Personally, I hope he wins. I hope that he wins. And I think the last 2 years leading into the Royal Rumble, the promos that he delivered with Cody is just a tip of the iceberg. Now add in The Rock in whatever fashion. I just feel like that is the most compelling WrestleMania match for CM Punk and for Cody Rhodes, and to main event a night of WrestleMania, where it's not clunky, it's clean, it's fresh. That's to be my personal. I just don't think they're gonna go that way. All right, number 2, Drew McIntyre for me here. Now, he would have been a lot lower, perhaps maybe even under Seth, just because how they positioned him. With that wild card of The Rock and the fantasy booking of the corporation and all that stuff, I just feel like Drew fits that glove perfectly. Am I out of my mind? Am I looking too much in the tea leaves? Am I in the weeds too much, so to speak?
Do you know what? I spoke to a fellow YouTuber about this topic yesterday, and I was very much sold when the arguments of for Drew McIntyre being the corporate champion and how much it made so much sense. Because you look back to when Drew McIntyre re-signed his most recent contract with WWE, he was presented a sword from The Rock. It was a gift from The Rock. The Rock put Drew over massively as well when that deal was signed. If you look as well, I believe Drew put out a tweet or a comment when The Rock was on SmackDown past week. You know, you can't get away from the Bloodline Vortex. And I suppose it's that case. If you can't beat them, maybe you decide to join them. Drew's been a hypocrite for the longest time now. And it would not surprise me because he would fit the bill perfectly. Because all in all, The Rock is looking for himself back at Deadly Games Survivor Series 1998. He's looking for that guy because when you look back to Austin and Vince, when Austin was being asked to be the corporate champion, Austin wouldn't do it. He refused to give up on his values and what he believed in. I think Cody is the same in that way, although they're 2 very different characters, Austin and Cody, let's just say. However, The Rock is looking for someone like him who was willing to take that step to get to the top. Drew would be happily willing to take that step to get to the top because every time he's got there on merit himself in the last 12 months, someone has screwed him over, whether it was CM Punk, whether it was Damian Priest, whether it was Seth Rollins.
Solo Sikoa,
Solo Sikoa.
Go back to 2022, man. It would be justification for sure.
It certainly would make a lot of sense for Drew. And like you said, it does fit well like a glove. So actually, I might bump him up a little bit higher. I had him at 4th. I think I'm knocking Seth down. I think that, Drew's going to take the number 3 spot for me now.
Yeah, I feel, if you're going to fantasy book, look in the tea leaves, so on and so forth, he just makes the most sense with The Rock being in this scenario. Before we get to 1, The Rock, Cody, before or after this match, segment-wise, layout-wise on this Elimination Chamber card?
Should be before, in my opinion. However, it's The Rock after all. It's The Rock's show currently. Why would The Rock not close off this PLE with a promo segment? But for me, that needs to be in the middle of the show. This needs to be the end of the show. If it was Michael, which it's not going to be Michael, is it? Let's be fair here. Let's get real for a minute. I think Women's Chamber opens. I think then perhaps maybe we have something with this segment being after that, and then that way you can move on to Tiffy's match, unsanctioned men's chamber.
Yeah, that feels like good flow right there. I feel that this should main event, but for a wild card, The Rock may, they could bleed together. Actually, I don't know. But while we're on that subject, over under this match in length or The Rock's promo in length?
Well, The Rock way he's been recently, we could be looking at an Iron Man performance from Dwayne this Saturday.
Insanity. All right. And I'm pro Rock. I'm all for it. It's just read the room a little bit, buddy. But you never know. It could be leading to something. So I don't want to shit on it completely. All right. Number one, not in my heart, but I feel that coming in, John Cena is presented to be the likely opponent to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I'm all for the journey of Cena chasing 17. I'm all for the final year of 2025 being the year of John Cena. Unless if he kind of goes into that dark side a little bit, it doesn't feel like it's warranted for him to get a title match just yet. You agree with that sentiment? Where are you at with John Cena? May 1st, 2025. Does he feel like he fits?
So John Cena is, of course, the other one in the top two. I think now is the time that I should reveal how I look at it as 1 and 2. I have CM Punk at number 2 purely because I think Seth cannot stand the idea that CM Punk would get that number 1 spot and would get the main event. I think it would be, say Seth finished 3rd and Punk was still there wrestling in the chamber and Rollins hadn't left yet. There was an opportunity for Rollins to screw Punk, and there was an opportunity for John Cena to win an Elimination Chamber match, but not doing it by himself, which of course Big Match John has done all those years, but is not able to win a singles match now since 2018. The fact this way, then it still protects that if John Cena can still go, but he still wins the Elimination Chamber, and we start building to WrestleMania. And like you said, I would prefer in myself that John had a longer journey to get to this 17th world title match opportunity, but WrestleMania is going to happen once in this farewell tour. It makes the most sense he's going for a 17th world title on the biggest show of the year. It makes the most sense. Should he win that title on the biggest show of the year, though? Right now, for me, is no. I want to see more desperation from John. I want to see him fail, and I want to see him how desperate he can get, because he was desperate to politic himself to say, I don't need to qualify for this match. Mm-hmm. How is he going to get if he doesn't win this match? How is he going to get if he doesn't win at WrestleMania? It could be a case that we could finally get some form of heel turn from John Cena that we've been praying for years, for decades even at this point. I'm not sure if we will or won't get that, but I'm going to speak with my heart over my head. I think John Cena should win this match. And like I said, I don't think he should win it by eliminating 4 guys. The only person he should pin is CM Punk, and that's because of the fact of Seth Rollins. From that point to the road to WrestleMania, it could be a case that The Rock maybe trying to get in John's ear. Cena can't do it. He couldn't do it on his own, for example. And we could just get that moment of WrestleMania where actually John Cena fits the profile perfectly and is desperate enough that he's willing to become that corporate champion. Give up on the laurels of never give up, the full John Cena spiel we've had for the last 20 years. We should have John Cena as a corporate champion, the 17th world title. And why not, instead of having the final boss or, something like that, John Cena is also someone that's been in Hollywood. He's got the social numbers on social media. How about the Hollywood bosses?
It's pretty cool. That would definitely be like, all right, that's fresh. That's new. It's not the same old. There's that level historically that those guys could be on anyone's Mount Rushmore, right? It just feels that you could see The Rock and John Cena versus Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, generation versus generation, on a SummerSlam. You could do a lot with that. There's definitely a lot of juice to that, and they could even incorporate a third guy, an up-and-comer star, right? There's a lot you could definitely do there. And both being part-time guys, you would need like a proxy of guy or two to do as well. So that would definitely interest me much more than babyface versus babyface, like Never Give Up versus the American Nightmare. I just don't. Here's the thing. It's about the chase with John Cena. Once he becomes the champion, if he's the same Fruity Pebbles John Cena, what does that do for 2025? Something like that. Something that I don't know if he's always wanted to do, but something new for the majority of this run here would be awesome. But selfishly, I'm a Boston guy. right outside of John Cena. We're both about 20 minutes away from the TD Bank North Garden, which is the
Wow.
Boston Garden.
Mm.
I hope that his final hurrah is in December at the end of the year, and it's presented in a big stage at the Garden, going for the belt, one last hurrah, whatever. But like you said earlier, I'm not booking it. If I'm definitely open to go on a journey with John Cena, current state John Cena, I understand he's going to evolve in 2025. I just don't know if I feel it heading into the chamber with how the tea leaves look. I don't know.
I totally get what you mean. And that's why, for me, I want to see John get to a point that we see a heel turn, because although I don't feel that John Cena's last match, which I agree with you, I think Boston, I feel like I've been doing a bit of reading and hearsay. I don't know if it's legit or not, but we could be getting a PLE in December this year.
Hopefully.
Ruthless Aggression could be the name of it, could be in Boston. If that's the case, look, John Cena will be a babyface by that point. There's no way he goes out as a heel. If you do something up with The Rock, you can do that till SummerSlam. John Cena gets thrown to the side. Goes back to being babyface John for the rest of the remainder. Maybe tries to be on the Grand Slam champion to finish off, because he's not won the IC title either. So he could just have those couple of extra goals once he's got through the 17th world title. But yeah, I think for me that it just adds some substance, adds something exciting to the John Cena journey, not just, oh, John versus this guy, Cena versus that guy, because there's not much more to it other than the fact that John Cena's coming to say goodbye to every town. I want more of an in-depth, something that we can look back on in 5-10 years, that John Cena actually did something with that farewell tour, and it's something that's memorable. Because if John Cena does a heel run in this year, I think people will look back at this year quite fondly, because of the fact that John Cena went against everything he ever did, really, for the last 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Because he's not the number one guy anymore. Cody's the number one guy. John Cena can afford to be arguably the Hulk Hogan of WCW Bash at the Beach 96.
Yep. Let's have him do it for himself once instead of doing it for the company and the fans, right? So I would be kind of open to that sentiment. All right, we're here at the end. My heart still tells me just go with CM Punk. It's the best story. Do I pick with my heart, or do I pick with the likelihood? Fuck it, CM Punk. who do you got, Steve, winning this?
Look, my heart is CM Punk. I'm a big CM Punk fan. I want him to get his WrestleMania main event. However, I think he's going to get it on night one with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. I think his favor will be that WrestleMania main event via Paul Heyman. Okay. I think we're getting Cody versus John Cena night 2, and I think The Rock will have a heavy influence, let's say, on the night 2 main event.
Excellent. All right, Steve, tell us, as we're heading out of here, about SCW Wrestling.
So thank you very much for having me on. First and foremost, it's been a pleasure to actually collaborate with you, and I hope we get to do it again in the future. I'd actually like to have you on my channel if there's a possibility as well, on the road to Mania. But yeah, SCW, the wrestling channel on YouTube, you can find me there. So pretty much interactive content a lot of the time, many live videos that are actually going on the channel. Elimination Chamber predictions is there, so if you want to know my thoughts on the rest of the card, that is there on the channel already. Of course, we've got live Q&As, reviews, retro, also other little series as well that we like to do. Some things like the Mount Rushmore, for example, on the channel. So lots of fun. If you're into WWE, AEW, and TNA, perhaps maybe a slice of other companies as well from time to time, then make a stop. Come and say hi. Get involved in the Q&A and ask yourself a question. And
you audio listeners, I know you guys delve a little bit with YouTube. I would recommend strongly to go over there and check out this channel. It's really up our alley here on the No So. So if you like the No So, you'll dig his channel as well. Steve, it was great having you on. I'm sure we'll do much more soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for once again. And like I say, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well. And yeah, I look forward to collaborating with you again soon.
Thank you.